Thunderdome. Marcus, the Thunderdome is WWE's new latest dumbassery that they're trying to do to boost ratings. It's a featured state-of-the-art set with video boards, pyrotechnics, lasers, cutting-edge graphics, and drone cameras, which, oh my god, I already hate this. Thoughts on Thunderdome?
They scrambling, man. They scrambling to do anything they can. That's why they doing this bullshit Nexus Ninja gimmick. That's why they doing this Raw Underground. It's why they rushing these pay-per-views and God knows doing what else. It's all a ploy to get these ratings up because they're literally in the toilet. And probably whatever's beneath the toilet, that's probably where they actually are. So, this is, again, they know that fans will flock if they feel like they can, feel like they're taking part in something like this because, like I said, people are home and not allowed to do. And that WWE Universe mentality folk of I was there, even though this is just completely ridiculous. They know they can pull people in like that. So, but again, to me, this is a waste of money, but it's their money. I think I'll be putting that more so behind getting better writers, although that's not going to be worth a damn because Vince is there. So, yeah, they're just doing whatever they can, So, but again, to me, it's crap. I'd rather them just keep the format they got of putting people that work there behind this plexiglass than, well, now we're going to go to the Thunderdome and see what the fans like. Oh, look, this is some of those fans who have yet to cross that line of obsessed. Hey.
Thunderdome is on the loose. Thunderdome is dumb. Thunderdome. The Thundercats would be ashamed of this. This is hacky, right? Like, what do you think is going to happen? Sincerely, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they just had the lowest hour in Raw history this week. It is impossible to look at the situation and just go, oh, this will fix it. It won't. We've said it time and time again. The only thing that's going to fix this is someone new leading the company. This isn't 15 years of fans just going, nah, we're good. This is 15 years of fans telling Vince McMahon, nah, we're good. They want something else. They want something new. They want something that isn't you, Vince. This isn't it. And the problem is we look at Vince's historical run as a promoter, and it's not good. Like, let's be honest. Like, Vince did more harm to the business of pro wrestling than he did help it. He murdered promotions. He deliberately tried to change the narrative around things. He's a bad faith business owner who's had just gross accusations levied against him, like he covered up a child sex ring. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying he's been accused of that. And 2 of his employees were in fact fired for having sex with underage kids. He's been accused of buying off Jimmy Snuka's trial or arrest, I should say. That's something that Jimmy Snuka even believed. He's been accused of rape twice. Vince McMahon's a bad dude, and I say this all the time, and it's going to get me into a lot of trouble the day it happens, but when he dies, I will be happy, because he is a bad human being. He is not a good person, and he never has been. But too many people want to look past that because they see wrestling and they see their child, and they're like, oh, nostalgia, blah, 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 blah. Nah, dude, that ain't me. I'm never going to be that guy. But also, I should acknowledge that, yeah, I'm still kind of bitter that he killed WCW, which technically he didn't do. Technically, Turner Broadcast and the merger with Time Warner did that. But still, fuck Vince McMahon. But I can also admit that there is some serious legitimacy to the anger and hatred around Vince McMahon. So I see this, and I think to myself, man, you can call it, titties hanging from the ceiling dome, which would be weird and horrifying at the same time. Naked strippers dancing around the ring dome, much less creepy. And people still wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Because this ain't about the fucking dome, bitch. It's about you. Retire.
yeah, yeah, man. The company right now is 100%. I mean, they got some of the most talented individuals to ever come through the industry. Certainly right now, but they're creatively bankrupt, and the talent know it, and the people behind the scenes know it as well. I mean, they freaking pulling in um, guys like Pat McAfee to pop a rating, you know,
Mm-mm.
um, and it's just ridiculous. And to those people that kiss Vince's ass, you can't sit up here and conflate. And we do this not just with guys like him, but all over the entertainment industry, specifically with a lot of these douchebags that have been called out, whether you agree with the going back and pulling receipts or not. You can't sit up here and conflate um, finances and success with quality of character. They're not mutually exclusive. I know a lot of rich people who are absolute scum,
Yeah.
most of which are probably some form influencing what's happening in this country right now. So you can't conflate the two. You can't like, well, if the company was so bad, they wouldn't be bringing in all that income. It's okay. All right. You clearly don't know, and I'm not going to try to explain it to you because you're actively not trying to use multiple parts of your brain. So it's fine.
I have no faith this is going to work. It's apparently debuting Friday for SmackDown, which makes no sense because why wouldn't you want to wait until SummerSlam to debut this? It's like they don't even understand logic and how to best up the ante on your shows. I have a feeling that WWE does not care about their quote-unquote pay-per-views anymore. And when we get to the card, and oh boy, it's up next, you're going to see just how bad SummerSlam looks on paper. This is the worst year of programming I have ever seen, and it's not just because of COVID. You don't get to have that excuse when you have Impact balling out. Fucking New Japan has two different brands going at the same time, and they're both making fans extremely happy. And a little uncomfortable because a lot of fans are now on the Yoshihashi train. And I don't get it. It's fucking mind-boggling. So, Marcus, SummerSlam looks like absolute dog trash. That may be too offensive. It looks like dog trash. So let's start from the top and work our way down. The Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Four dudes who are being misused. But Chad, they're wrestling for the Raw Tag Team titles, which is somehow less impressive than wrestling for the 24/7 title in this company. Go figure. If this was Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, MLW, fair point. It's not. There's a reason why all the tag teams don't want to go or regret signing with this company. Because they don't do fucking tag team wrestling. It's not good. So I don't know. Do you care? I know you're a Montez Ford guy, or maybe more. You're not China. What's his wife's name?
Oh, you're talking about Bianca Belair.
I know you're more of a Bianca, but maybe you're more of a Bianca Belair guy. But I mean, do you care about this match at all? Because I don't.
No, and they just beat these guys on Raw. Like by the championship matches are gonna be any better. We've seen most of these matches 30 freaking times on Raw. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. It's a filler. It's a foregone conclusion. They just freaking went through a thing about Zelina poisoning Montez. It just and poor Bianca, because obviously all the couples have to be on screen now. It's cool to see her work with him and work with the Street Profits, and I like all three of them. But really, from Zelina to Garza to the other guy to the Street Profits and Bianca, they're all being misused. They're all being misused. Bianca should be killing it in the women's division right now. She should have been killing it in NXT, but she became the most popular loser down there, and then they brought her up to the main roster, and they haven't done anything worth a damn with her since. And it's, like you said, when this is worse off than the 24/7 title, you got a real problem.
But Adam Cole and Pat McAfee will save the weekend, said the liar. Everyone on this card has been booked like shit, except for 2 people. Even in those instances, I can't say that they booked them like shit, but they've mostly booked them like shit. I mean, I feel bad for the Street Profits and Andrade and Angel because they all had hype at one point. Maybe not so much Dawkins, but all 4 of these guys were at one point like super, or 3 of these guys were super fucking vaunted and highly celebrated. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's fucking dumb. So goddamn dumb. All the goddamn dumbness. Speaking of dumb, hey, you want to put Randy Orton in your main event of SummerSlam? Probably win the WWE title? All to set up a 44-year-old's possible WrestleMania match with him? Or 46-year-old? I don't know how fucking old Edge is. So their grand idea for creating new champions is to put the belt on Randy Orton, possibly, and have him go into WrestleMania to face off with Edge for the title, possibly. Hoping to have a bigger reaction because, there wasn't anyone there this year. Next year for WrestleMania, when Edge takes on Randy Orton for the umpteenth time. This parlays into what we just talked about. Marcus, did you know that there was a UFC event this past Saturday?
Yeah, I saw some scuttle about it on Twitter.
Two of the greatest heavyweights in the company's history, Daniel Cormier, who I absolutely enjoy, went up against the one guy I would always root against him for because he's a Clevelander, and that's Stipe Miocic. Had a hell of a fight. It was one of those kind of bouts where you felt every punch, and both guys did a great job. Both guys got poked in the eyes. It's a hell of a fight. It's the 3rd time they fought, but it's only the 3rd time they fought since 2018. Meaning it was must-see TV. And the card wasn't good. Like, the undercard was someone named Sean O'Malley versus a guy most of you probably never heard of. That was it. Like that and like Junior Dos Santos and I think Rosenstruck were like the biggest names on the card. Like you had 2 fights that had any name value. And then one that was supposed to be really good but ended up being an injury stoppage short. So why was this card able to be sold as is? Because you had a main event that has been so rarely seen that it was must-see TV. If WWE booked themselves like they booked modern pro wrestling or modern MMA, there would be more people excited about some of these fucking matches. But because we see it all goddamn always, there's no luster to these. And the problem is because Vince is still booking like it's 1974, where he only has to book for one city, or not one city, where he only has to run one card for every city he goes to. Because there's no internet in 1979. No one's going to see Bruno Sammartino wrestle, fucking Iron Sheik or who the fuck ever, every single week. But Vince still books like it is because that's the only thing he knows. He's not a good booker. If you actually knew how to book wrestling or book combat sports, you would actually be able to make a lot of money off of this product still. But the problem is you can't because it's all terrible. It's all terrible. It's all bad. And it's nothing. It's perpetual repeats, man. It's not even reboots. It's just a repeat. I feel like the kid from Growing Pains and Back to the Future. What's a rerun? Watch WWE. You'll understand what a rerun is. Anyway, Drew McIntyre's taking on Randy Orton. It's going to be trash. Randy Orton can't work. Drew's all right. Like, I don't like Drew, but I will never say he can't work. I just don't find him to be that exciting. Mostly because he tries to do, like, 30-minute matches where he's doing, like, cross faces. And I'm just like, why? It's like watching Bobby Lashley for more than 4 minutes. Why? Why is Brock Lesnar going 34 minutes? Why? No! Oh, Brock Lesnar's wrestling Rey Mysterio or AJ Styles? Yeah, that match should definitely go 30 minutes.
Oh, no, he's racing Rey Mysterio with interference from his son.
He's not even facing Rey Mysterio. He's facing his son. Rey Mysterio's missing an eye. To be fair, so am I, because after I watched that match, I'm like, nope, got to do it.
But, yeah, man, it's exactly what you said, the perpetual repeats. The only thing that I don't think I've seen in this whole thing, and that people are praising Randy Orton for doing some of his best work.
Well, but, Hitler got elected, president of Germany, so, like, people are not always smart when they decide to choose someone. I'm not saying Randy Orton is Hitler. I'm just using it as an
Yeah.
analogy. Calm down.
Somebody who's
Randy's
probably a
racism is
real
more.
life heel.
Randy's racism is more relegated to Twitch.
Yeah, streaming, racial epithets. But yeah, man, like I said, I think I'm more of a Drew guy than you are, but to me, he's like a real good champion at a really bad time, specifically not just with COVID, because like I said, if there was the company was better creatively, you wouldn't be able to notice it. Like talking about it, 'cause like I said, I think fans not being there pulled back the veil, showing you everything that's exactly wrong with the company and why they are in the doldrums now.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he's clamoring to get any type of fans back is because it can cover a lot of the holes that are clearly in the show. Because all they can rely on now is those sicker fans, unfortunately. So, but yeah, you know, them bringing in 70-some year old man and Rick, probably 50 to nearly 60-year-old man, and Sean who's balding. Um, you
Bow-legged,
got Edge.
cross-eyed, balding. That dude looks like
You got
every
Edge.
nerd from middle school I knew. And, me. Although I wasn't balding, bow-legged, or cross-eyed, but I was a fucking nerd in middle school. Holy shit.
Exactly. Then you got Edge and Christian. Edge, who I would imagine is going to get some measure of revenge. I don't know if the jury's still out on Christian, whether he gets cleared or not, or can get cleared or not. And it's like, what is this leading to? Is they going to put the title on Edge, or is it going to somehow, lose to McIntyre, which I would imagine, because the only thing we haven't seen throughout this whole thing is him hitting him with a claymore. But I can see that going either way. Then Edge coming back, taking it off him. Or if he does it, it's like, okay, you put it on Orton, who's going to eventually come back and topple him? Cena? Again, like the youngest guy in this scenario is still what, Drew?
Yeah, and he's like 35.
Exactly. And this is the guy that you put Brock under to get over. So it's like, are you really going to go that route? Or like, you really that disappointed with everything that's going on with Drew? Because it's not Drew's fault. Like, he's got to work with what he's got to work with. Like, he's defended his title against Dolph Ziggler and Heath Slater. He's doing everything you guys are asking. So it's like, it sucks, but this is kind of what it is.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where you got to really wonder what the fucking point of all this is, because obviously the idea is to get Orton to WrestleMania with the title to take on Edge when he returns from his injury. But also, this company is dying in front of us. And it's not because they don't have talent. It's not because they can't make stars. Because they can just buy them and still fuck that up. It's because they genuinely do not want people to succeed. And I don't know if it's hubris, stupidity, a combination, stupidity. I can do better. Hubridity. There it is. The new drug sweeping the nation. Hubridity. And I think it's funny that they have Drew McIntyre, real name Devin Mash. Let's be honest. He's the Diesel of 2020. And give credit where credit's due to Kevin Nash. When he was working as champion, he was balling out. And granted, his matches weren't that great. But I was about to call you Matt, wrong co-host. Marcus, Nash at one point in his run actually did a top rope suicide, not top rope suicide. He dove over the top rope on Mabel, like a luchador. I guess all those times when he was bragging to Alex Shelley in 2006 about all the big high-flying moves he used to do wasn't so much a lie, actually. Go figure. The big man's got some moves. But I'm looking at Drew McIntyre, and he is Kevin Nash. And that's not an insult to McIntyre or Nash, but an acknowledgement that he's in an era that's down. He's in a company that has lost its creative luster, and he's working for a guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing anymore. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And we're not even halfway through this fucking card yet. We will not be reviewing this because it's going to be me headbanging for 30 fucking minutes going, why did we watch this? Why did we watch this? And I'm just going to be bleeding from my fucking forehead. And Mark's going to be like, this ain't worth it. I'm just going to be like, because I hit my head so hard I gave myself a stroke.
Yeah, I'm just gonna force us down a Sons of Anarchy or Smallville rabbit hole if we had to do
Yeah. So you know what we're gonna do Sunday? I don't know, but I ain't gonna watch this fucking show.
it. We might, yeah, hell, we might as well talk about because that's gonna happen Saturday. Might as well talk about I guess Fandom fallout.
Yeah, we'll fucking do a 3 hour. You know,
Since we changed it up at a ComicCorp, you know.
I'm just about to say this. Yeah, considering the fact that SummerSlam's going to be on for 3 or 4 hours on Sunday, I don't know. One last Comic Core we're covering Fandom. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it'd be better. It'd be better than SummerSlam.
If Zach drop his nuts on the industry with that trailer that I'm expecting him to do, you know we can go about that all day.
Yeah, we could do 3 hours on that alone. Holy shit. The best match on the card might be Apollo Crews versus MVP. I'm not warming up to the title, but in comparison to all the other belts on WWE's roster, it is probably the best. That's not me saying it's good, to be clear. It's still trash. But I don't think the WWE has one nice-looking title belt in their entire repertoire. I'm sure, Marcus, you may like the NXT title, or the tag team titles, or even the UK title. UK title's all right. Maybe the best of the bunch, but do you think any of the belts are up to the level of criteria that you hold them to?
Like I said, I think right with you, the UK title has had not only does it have like a really great aesthetic, but it's also had the champions and the defenses of said championship to kind of put some legitimacy to it. In terms of just simple aesthetic that might be interesting to me, I kind of do like the North American design. Um, I'm still like tilting my head sideways with the IC, like it's so off the beaten path that is interesting, but that isn't always a good thing. And with the new US, it's like I don't know, it's not really warming up to me either. Um, maybe that has to do with I was just so used to the old design. And I never really liked the spinner thing. I mean, I might have been partial to it at the time because that's when Cena was hot. But even with the main title, like I really do think I liked the design that The Rock debuted with the belt, with the big face belt, but with the champion at the bottom when it was big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I like that more than but we all know the Universal title is a joke, and so yeah, I mean it's not nobody cares about the tag, they're penny belts, so it's a thing, man. Like they definitely not touching Impact titles,
No.
and the only gripe with those is a color change. So, but the red stands out more, so that's about it. So
Well, the red were put in because of the branding, because Anthem changed from what was it, like yellow, I think, and white, or black and white to red. So that's why
yeah,
Impact did the same thing. So Apollo Crews MVP should be all right, but it may not be, good, but it might be the best of the night. I like MVP. I've always liked MVP. But I don't know what he has at like 46. Like, does he have anything left, do you think?
I don't know. I think he works in small bursts, but over consistent. I mean, I think they've he's made chicken salad out of chicken crap. Because last night it was the Hurt Business against like Alexander, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali. That's like an ethnic Super Bowl um, for WWE. But he's been a great mouthpiece for guys like Lashley and Benjamin. Um, but in terms of sheer performance, I think if anything, he works better in mixed tag like he was in last night. I don't think he needs to be in the ring. I much rather see a surprising show stealer between Lashley and Apollo. But that
Mm-hmm.
is not necessarily what the narrative is because MVP is the strongest character. Like even more so than Apollo. I mean, clearly, if you put MVP with Benjamin, Lashley, Apollo, Ricochet, and Cedric, MVP wins by like 6 country miles. So it might be, if they put the title on him, you can't really be mad. But I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they've had Khali as a world champion, so well, you put an MVP a title on MVP, and he's damn near like OG. He's damn near like Rey Mysterio in his prime compared to that. So
Yeah, he is 46. He'll be 47 in October. If Apollo Crews wins, which is where they should go, because Crews, which granted is the worst name in wrestling, well, one of, considering his first name in the Indies was Uha Nation, and God, what a name. God, what a name. This could be a good thing for Apollo,
yeah,
but I have my concerns. Not as many concerns as I have about Dominic Mysterio making his in-ring debut.
yeah, it's gonna be this. They padding it out with a street fight though, man. You ain't got to get technical with that.
I'm Googling him on, well, not Googling, I'm cage matching him as we speak to see if I am correct in the fact that this is his in-ring debut. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Career, 0 matches. Matches, no matches. This is his first ever match. Now listen, I think Seth Rollins is about as desirable as Tix, right? But you're not putting your second, third top heel in a match with Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam. Like, that's insanity, right? I'm not alone in thinking that this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's Dominic Mysterio's debut match in a one-on-one street fight with Seth Rollins. Like, what? It's like that repeating running gag in Modern Family, where Claire or somebody always yells at Phil, the dad, "What's the plan, Phil?" I'm sitting here going, "What's the plan, Phil?" Because I don't know. Like, are you going to have Seth Rollins lose to a one-eyed, God damn it, one-eyed, one-horn flying Mysterio people eater? Doesn't work as well, but it's, is one-eyed Ray and no experienced Dominic really going to be the guys to, topple Seth Rollins? That would be fucking terrible. If Seth wins in 3.5 minutes, fair enough. But if Dominic Mysterio, or even if Seth needs like 30 minutes to win this fight, that doesn't help anyone. It certainly doesn't help Seth, who, quite frankly, is probably, in terms of drawing power, the true Kevin Nash of the WWE. The true Diesel is probably Seth Rollins, because he's never been a good top guy. So how does this help anyone? Like, why is this match happening? Why is this the thing? I'm angry. This show's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone cares about Dominic Mysterio's debut. Like, if I'm wrong, tell me, but, like, goddamn.
I mean, I think what they sadly benefit from is because they do the same thing over and over and over again. Anything like these Nexus ninjas, these BS Nexus ninjas, or something like Dominic Mysterio, or this whole thing going on with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend and Braun, anything that's viewed as different is like glorious. Because they conflating different with creative, and really it's lazy, and it's sad that they may very well be pimping out this man's son to hold on to this guy who they booked horribly. Like, the last time I was really excited to see anything Rey Mysterio had to do was in Lucha Underground, and it feels like he's wasting the last good years of his career with freaking a fake eye popping out. And going half blind, and it really just feels like he's just hanging around for his son, because his son may very well, this may be his dream, until he sticks around and get disillusioned and eventually corroded until he goes somewhere else like everybody else does. And I mean, look, he could be working with worse people. Like, he could be going in a street fight with Nia Jax. So,
well, to be fair, he is. Like, Seth Rollins has hurt a lot of people in this time.
Yeah, but the kid, at least the kid won't be getting a buckle bomb,
We don't know that. Like, here's my concern with Dominic. I'm concerned he's going to go so hard in on this match that he's actually going to fuck himself up severely. That he wants to do so good by his father that he's going to allow Seth not to take the liberties. I don't want it to sound like Seth does shit intentionally, But you can tell
Yeah.
Seth does not take all the precautions he sometimes needs to. He definitely has more confidence in his abilities than he should. But I could see Dominic going, throw me off, 30-foot stage. Onto concrete. Because he wants to impress his daddy. And let's be honest, this is a big daddy to try to impress. Like, it's Rey goddamn Mysterio Jr. A man so popular in 2 countries that his forebearer, his name giver, his uncle, the original Rey Mysterio, no longer has the same type of resonance anymore because everyone knows that Rey, his nephew, was better. When people say, like, who's Rey Mysterio, they don't think, oh, the guy from Mexico. They think Rey Mysterio Jr., the former WWE Cruiserweight. Although he's now a swolleweight because, apparently Rey has, he's been hitting the El Jimmo. I just don't get, Marcus, you hit on the head. This is being done to keep Mysterio, to keep Rey Mysterio. There's a potential that Dominic's good, right? Like, I don't want to take away from the kid.
Yeah.
In no way do I want to slander the young man or he sucks. I don't know. I've never seen him wrestle. He's never wrestled before. My issue is the fact that he's never wrestled before. And that WWE is like, oh, yeah, we'll put him on the second biggest show of the year, usually, in SummerSlam. Like, this is a weak-ass SummerSlam card. And it's not getting any stronger by looking at the fact that Dominic Mysterio has yet never wrestled a live match. He maybe has had matches with his dad or his training partners in, like, a gym somewhere. But those don't count.
Yeah, I mean, and by simple logic, if it's me or you booking, it's like, okay, look, it's a street fight, which basically means anything goes. Obviously, Buddy Murphy is Seth's right hand. So if the match starts and then Mysterio comes out there with his kid, have Buddy Murphy literally hit him on his blind side.
Mm-hmm.
Take out Mysterio. Dominic gets distracted. Seth low blows him. As soon as he's on his knees, hit him with the curb stomp, and then they out of there.
Yeah. And then do like 2 minutes of beating him down. So that way you give him a few months to come back, like keep him in the Performance Center and get him to work, but maybe bring him back around Survivor Series, put him in a 10-man tag. That's the way you do it. That's how The Rock was debuted. He was debuted in a multi-man match. Yeah,
and to your point, and I wonder about this too, because obviously I think you've seen this happen more than me. Dominic is, most people are bigger than Mysterio, but he is specifically, bigger than his dad. And what I don't want to see is him to get in a situation in a street fight or any other match they put him in, and him try to be the size he is, trying to be his dad. Like, you're big, you have a certain build, you should probably be doing more hossier, stockier type of moves, like a running shoulder tackle or something like that. Like, he doesn't need to be doing flying cross bodies or springboards.
Booyaka Booyaka 619. Booyaka Booyaka Dominic Mysterio.
Like you talked about it before. Like, it's cute, all those moves Brian Cage, can do, but should he be doing it?
No, absolutely not. And and that's Brian Cage with 20 years experience. I do not know what we're going to be getting from Dominic, who has 0 years experience. So it's going to be ugly. Bowling shoe ugly. Then we got Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Asuka, and Bayley with Sasha Banks versus Asuka. 2 matches for the women's championships. Banks and Bayley have been winning everything. They won the tag team titles. They won both women's titles. I don't know why fans are so gung-ho and so adamant about getting that turn, right? Like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, Bayley and Sasha need a feud. Why? We've seen it. It's not that good. Like, I'm fine with this 2-chick power trip, right? I'm fine with that. I think it's a better angle. But, doing this, and honestly, I don't have much negative to say about this. This is a fine idea because it can work in a multitude of ways. The problem is Asuka's been so poorly booked ever since she got called up that no one even matters. Like the WWE has done a great job making no one a star because everyone has to do 50-50 booking. No one can just be undefeated for an entire year. Like, it's like they don't understand that fans subconsciously latch onto people who don't just lose. Like, fuck, Ryback got over in the modern era because he just won all the time. So, like, I don't know, man. This is the big dumb. This is the big dumb.
It's big gun, but I get like I said, they planted seed, but I actually liked when they went from the potential planting seeds to them beefing because it's very predictable, and I think the only reason why people are so clamoring for is because they feel like they deserve a full circle thing with you know what they did at that takeover. They feel like they need a match to come after that. But to me, I've enjoyed this power trip, and I think people like I think who it was uh, Ember Moon kind of commented like why they putting all the stuff on Bailey and Sasha like they could spread the love. I'm like spread the love to who? Dana Brooke?
You leave Dana
Huh?
alone, damn it.
Lacey Evans? Like these are literally the two best, and I love Ember Moon, but she is talking from a very unique space. She's sitting out injured
Mm-hmm.
from running after the 24/7 championship. Like even like I get her thing in it, but even when you were active, you wasn't even in the damn title picture. So like just maybe back off. Like Sasha and Baylor are literally the best things they got going right now. Like even Baylor has looked better, obviously with Sasha, but she's elevated her attitude and kind of gotten a little carefree, which has helped her because she was kind of extremely like even her makeup's gotten better. Like she was specifically looking like the chick from uh the freaking Dewey show, Huey Dewey show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about yeah, but so it's like you said, but it's gonna be interesting seeing where they go with it because like you said, Oscar has been so poorly booked, and ultimately everybody's just waiting for the Charlotte shoe to drop anyway, or at least you should be, because that's always the shoe that drops in this division. All things lead back to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
That's the narrative of this division. So you can clamor about stuff all you want to, but we all ultimately know what's gonna happen.
We all know who the villain now is. We all know who the villain now is. Who's the villain now, Flash? We know. We know. Then we got Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. I actually like hair versus hair matches. They're some of the most intense and funnest things that you'll see going.
Yeah.
But not with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Like
Yeah.
any other chicks on this roster, man, like there might be some intrigue for me. And like the feud has been fine, right? Mandy
Hmm.
fell in love with the rotund wonder that is Otis that hasn't been on TV since June or pay-per-view. So I don't fucking watch this. I haven't cared in months, so I don't know. They're all MIA to me. But like, remember how over he was? Where the fuck is Otis? I don't even see.
Yeah, man.
I don't even see
Yep.
Mandy
Yep.
Rose parentheses with Otis written down. It's just Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville.
Yeah, it's almost funny. I mean, you almost forget about the whole Money in the Bank scenario, because he's gotten kind of wrapped up in that, and him and Tucker is just playing like an aesthetic piece to that whole thing. But yeah, it's weird because I think you talked about like if you was looking, I don't know if you said you'd have this match now after this whole situation went down. It's and again, I guess this would be a Cornette cringe thing because it'd be like, how the freak are we supposed to believe these women want to kill each other and cut each other bald? When they're clearly best friends outside of this whole thing, making apparent that they're best friends, and then just went through a potential crisis together.
You know what you do?
So,
I got it. I got it. And it's not actually a bad idea at all because sometimes I have some stupid ideas for funsies. You have Otis come out with Mandy Rose. You have Mandy going to one corner and Sonya's in the other, and the rest admonishing Sonya because like I haven't rung the bell yet. And then Otis is like, "All right, Mandy," or whatever the fuck he does. And then Mandy's gonna push him. Sonya's gonna hit him with a low blow. Then Mandy's gonna kick him in the dick again because apparently that's the only way these two chicks can beat up a dude. He falls down. Sonya grabs the clippers, shaves his head bald, then shaves his beard off, and Mandy Rose then starts sprinkling Otis's dead hair in his face. And then they leave reunited. I know it completely kills the angle, it completely kills the rivalry, but at least then you have something to work off of that isn't just them trying to be sympathetic. Or not be sympathetic, I should say. Like it's the way to go, I think, because the only way you can really get Sonya into heel heat territory again is to, fuck around with the one guy who, fans still like, and that's Otis. So, I dub thee the twist of the night, or the swerve of the night.
I mean, you know, the subtitle to this card is to this show is "You'll Never See It Coming." So you know they love the subtitle with the shows now. You know, the horror show Extreme Rules. You know,
Well, that
so
works
you
for
know,
me, Marcus, because I won't see it coming because I won't be watching. And then we have Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, probably the worst match in WWE history. It's going to be bad. It's going to be awful. I don't even. It's just no.
quite literally would rather find free matches on YouTube or Grado. I'm good.
Grado. Grotto. So apparently, Dave Meltzer saying is the reason why Payback is being brought out the week after SummerSlam is because it's an experiment to see how it works. Meltzer has speculated that WWE has an idea for major angle coming out of SummerSlam, where they felt like they needed an immediate follow-up at Payback. There's no word yet on if WWE really does have a major angle planned for SummerSlam, but one fan theory making the round seems possible: the idea that Retribution. I got to make you watch World Wrestling All-Stars Retribution. I think that was the show that had like Jerry Lynn versus Eddie Guerrero. It's a weird show. They'll invade SummerSlam pay-per-view on Sunday, which will lead to the WWE roster getting quote-unquote payback at Payback the following weekend. As noted, that Raws was the first sign of WWE superstars coming together to confront Retribution. Even though it's a dumb name, we don't know who's a part of it, and it's dumb. It's just dumb. Marcus, do you think any idea justifies having a pay-per-view next to a pay-per-view on the calendar?
No, I mean, because I mean, like I said, the subtitle you'll never see it coming. So somebody's gonna do a betrayal. But now that I'm thinking about it, the only thing that would get me mildly interested would be something as left. And this is not me using any political jargon babble. As left is what you said about the Otis thing, because it's so random and it's like what's gonna happen? Flair's gonna come out of his Orton coma, and then hopefully that's not too soon for people. And then betray McIntyre. Shawn and Rick are gonna band together, betray McIntyre, and anoint once again Orton a champion. Then that's going to effectively, I guess, turn McIntyre to just an absolute loose cannon that needs to get Orton. I'm trying to think about the betrayal that I care about the most. The whole thing with Sasha and Bailey. Maybe they gonna pull the trick on that. So I don't know, but again, if you build all that around that whole show around one thing, then it's still gonna be for now because you still got to fill the car with other crap. So what you just gonna run a bunch of rubber matches on the show? It's already failed. It's already a failed experiment.
Now, this won't be an original idea because it's been brought up every time for the last 15 years something interesting might happen. But Marcus, what if it's John Cena? Sincerely, what if John Cena is the guy who ends up being in charge of Retribution? Would that be something that you think would work?
Holy hell! I completely left that whole group because it's ass. But last thing that can revealing the leader of the group is the last hope this thing can have of being intriguing. And if it's somebody like Cena, because I'm pretty sure the whole hacker thing with Ali is dead. But Cena or Joe or I don't know anybody else. That's gonna be. I'm pretty sure that's it. I'm glad you brought that up because that's probably what they're talking about. But that would be crazy. It would make no sense. But then I guess you could blame it on the hair. The hair's all that hair growth is finally that's what finally turned him kill, and not the shoe gimmick thing. So yeah, that
where he put his foot up and he twisted his foot on his heel and he's like, it's a heel turn. I love physical puns. So like,
but yeah, you're right, man. That could come out of nowhere. It's definitely not gonna be Hogan.
so here's long-term idea. We do Retribution. We have them show up. We have them attack whoever. I don't give a fuck. John Cena reveals himself SummerSlam night. And then on Raw or SmackDown, it doesn't really matter. You see the hacker thing show up again. and then you see like Mustafa Ali turn around in his little chair, and then like you just see him kind of like bring his hands up to his face and smile at the camera, and then later on, either on that show or the next show, I don't give a fuck where, Mustafa Ali comes out, but he's you see just like a member of Retribution come down with the group, and then he takes his mask off, and it's Mustafa Ali, and it's revealed that the hacker's been causing problems and getting people into the WWE compounds and whatnot and what have yous for weeks now, and he's doing it in order to bring down the WWE from within. Now, I'm going to go fucking extreme on this one, but follow me here. What if WWE had the balls to do it, and they didn't just have, like, and Retribution was just a stand-in name, like, who the fuck cares? But after Payback, when like everyone gets dropped, Retribution, like all 5 or 6 of the guys were to have you. I don't. It could be Chad Gable. It could be all like the worst used guys or whoever. I don't give a fuck. But John Cena, Mustafa Ali, and 3 or 4 other dudes. But as they're taking off their Retribution gear, you just see John Cena put up his 2 fingers, goes to one corner, drops it down, comes up in the middle, drops it down, comes up again. Then he brings it around in a half crescent, and then he does it again. And he just marks out the logo of WCW with his fingers. And then Retribution becomes WCW, and then you turn SmackDown into WCW SmackDown. That would be amazing. That would get me back into the product. Especially if they brought back the WCW belts for SmackDown. That would be awesome. But they don't have the balls to do anything that dynamic, so like I'm just going to be sitting here going, oh, one of the guys was Seth Rollins all along. All right. Whatever. Probably Adam Cole, Pat McAfee.
Yeah, at this goddamn Lillard is a freaking assassin. At this point, they can't afford to not do something that drastic, but they'll never take it that far because this is a company that has mastered cutting off their own nose to spite their face. And Vince will never do that with something that he, I'm sure, takes pride in saying he felt like he killed. I mean, we know the real narrative, but, So, it'll probably be something like big, but also lackluster at the same time because it won't make no sense.
Yeah.
So.
More than likely.
But, if it's Cena, like, Twitter's going to implode on itself.
I know what it's exact. Here's what it's gonna say, Marcus. Oh, they finally turned heel when they finally turned John Cena heel when no one cared. That's what it's gonna be. I mean, we can fucking bet. Do you want to fucking bet? I'll fucking bet. That's exactly the response is gonna be. Speaking of bad responses, apparently Ted DiBiase is about to lose his house. Uh-oh. According to the Associated Press and court documents filed in June, the federal authorities are trying to seize the $1.5 million home of former WWE superstar Ted DiBiase Jr. The attempt at seizing his home in Madison, Mississippi. Who would live in Mississippi voluntarily? Comes after Ted's brother, former WWE talent Brett DiBiase, was indicated in one of the largest public corruption cases in Mississippi history earlier this year. God bless. Man. Like, if there's a family living up to the goddamn gimmick of their dad, it's the DiBiases, right? I'm pretty sure. Wasn't Brett in jail at one point for like armed robbery or something?
I do not know. When it comes to brothers of wrestlers, I know because you talked about it a lot, or consistently when his name has come up. I know Kurt's brothers are always into something.
I think one of his brothers died, and the other one was arrested for like rape. I think
something.
DiBiase married his high school sweetheart Leah. Maybe because I thought there was like a standoff. Because like there was a reason why. Oh, okay. I'm on the wrong brother. Okay, who's the other brother? Is it Mike DiBiase? Because all 3 of the kids wrestled at one point.
Oh well, yeah. I only know Ted.
Brett.
So not...
I think Brett was the one who was in What was it? Legacy for that? Remember SummerSlam when that one random fan jumped? I think it was John Cena. That was Brett DiBiase.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Here we go. See, I knew it. I fucking knew it. On January 23rd, 2014, Mike DiBiase, the oldest of the DiBiase brothers, was arrested following a 12-hour standoff with police in Amarillo, Texas. Initially sought by police for a parole violation, a SWAT team used tear gas to arrest DiBiase for both parole violation and hindering apprehension. So, yeah, this family is something. He only wrestled for 3 years, but he was actually he was solid in the ring, and he actually won the NWA North American Heavyweight Championship and the NWA Texas Heavyweight Championship, and won the Fusion Pro Tag Team Championship with his brother Ted Jr. So, yeah, the family's got all sorts of things. Anyway, back to the article. Brett briefly worked for the Mississippi Department of Human Services and was later indicted on charges of stealing $48,000 in welfare money. He has pled not guilty to the charges. Authorities say Brett was paid to teach drug abuse classes in Mississippi, even though he was in a luxury drug rehab program in Malibu, California at the same time. As noted earlier this year, an investigation by Clarion Ledger newspaper found that Mississippi's Department of Human Services paid Ted Sr.'s Christian Wrestling Ministry more than $2 million in welfare funds. That's not good. Ted Jr. and his wife were less than 1 week away from finalizing the sale of their French colonial lakeside house when federal agents delivered paperwork to the person handling the sale. DiBiase has not been accused of a crime. Ted Jr. was never an employee of Mississippi Department of Services, but he did work with the agency on his Law of 16 program at one point, which was a self-help leadership training program. Ted Jr. is a former who cares? So they're saying that he didn't do any dumb thing, but that his brother did the dumb thing, and now his other brother, Ted Jr., because his brother Brett did something dumb, Ted Jr. might pay the price. So it's crime don't pay. Don't do the crime.
Yeah, it sucks because I was gonna ask. I'm like, it's crazy to hear about specifically Ted because I felt like he left wrestling to go more off into the route his dad did, which was in more religious territory. So it kind of, I mean, obviously you can't put the concept of being a crook beyond anybody with occupation or what have you, but it just didn't seem like he'd be the guy directly trying to pull something crooked. So that sucks, but the feds don't really care. They're just trying to get trying to get somebody. So
yeah, and if we know, especially me, because this is something I've studied, and you've heard about it through Sons of Anarchy, the RICO Act. The RICO Act is basically a way to prohibit organizations that are committing crimes from funneling money into shell companies or fronts. You always hear like, oh, we'll open up a laundromat and we'll launder money. The RICO Act is deliberately designed to stop that kind of stuff from happening. So like if you get arrested, all the money you gave so-and-so, that's still money that's going to be taken because of the fact that the RICO Act, it acts kind of prohibitively. And it looks like they're using a version of this with the DiBiases. So if Ted Jr. did take any money from Brett at all, then there can be some serious consequences because I doubt it was just Brett doing this because he doesn't seem like that smart of a guy, mostly because he decided to steal money from a drug and rehabilitation center. So, that's fucking stupid. By the by, the Trailblazers are about to beat the Lakers. Nah. Dame Judi Dench does it again. All right, we'll try to go through these a little bit quicker because we are on overtime. Eric Bischoff was announced. The leak of Eric Bischoff joining AEW was not supposed to happen. And I shouldn't say joining. Eric Bischoff's cameo on AEW was supposed to be a secret. But apparently, an NXT wrestler who was there either that week or the week before leaked it. Because it was pre-taped, I guess. So Jericho, went out and said on his podcast, I think. For example, when we had the debate and Eric Bischoff was announced on Reddit, and we know who the spy is, by the way. Oh, we know. He'll never fucking be back in AEW. And NXT Reject was a spy, so print that. It kind of got people thinking, who could it be, Marcus? Who could the Reject be? I have no idea.
Either.
Do you have a problem that someone came in and outed the Eric Bischoff stuff?
I mean, it's no. Don't start my back because don't really have a dog in the fight. But if you are someone who is still trying to hold down at least a little bit of curtain over the magic, if you will, like one of Jericho's returns, he was really adamant about keeping it a secret because it's just so hard to do nowadays. And I think he still holds a lot of respect for aspects that you can still maintain like that in the business today because of how open everything is. If I was in this position, I would have a problem with it because AEW as a new kind of startup company still getting its legs under itself. It needs stuff like that. It needs to be able to get surprises out like that. And if you have somebody salty that goes to the other team and isn't even scratching the surface anywhere over there, they're just doing it to be spiteful. You call them out on it. It's not no huge thing because I think the segment was still a success. But nobody likes snitches, man.
Trying to see who it was. There's two names that keep being thrown around, and unfortunately, they make my people look bad. One is Tino Sabatelli.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a good old boy. He's one of my Dagos. I can say that word, Marcus. You can't.
Got it.
If you do, I won't be that mad. And the other one is Caesar Bonanini. Bananani. Do 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 do. Bananani. Do 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 do. Bananani. Do 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 do. Neither guy has been publicly outed. Tino Sabatelli did wrestle a match for them, and Caesar Banini has been in the crowd at some points during the tapings. So who knows who it is? Neither man should be given any flack for it because, again, we don't know it was either one of them. Although, there's only so many people it could be. Banini's actually Brazilian, but I bet you he's Brazilian-Italian because Banini is an Italian name. That's why, Marcus, if you ever watch any fight cards and you ever see a Porto from Brazil, a lot of Italians moved over to Brazil in like the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Ah.
Yeah, I never knew that. I saw someone with my last name but was built from Brazil. I'm like, wait a second. That doesn't seem right. And I looked it up, and yeah, apparently there was a big migration pattern around the turn of the century where a lot of Italians looking for work went down to Brazil because apparently there was like shipping. They were a big shipping port, so go figure. So anyway, don't spoil things. That's the moral of the story.
Would have been hilarious if it would have been like it turned out to be your arch nemesis, the dreaded Kona Reeves.
Oh God, I don't even like. That dude probably saves puppies, right? Like he probably stopped like a rape or two. Like he's maybe like helped build a building, but that fucking look he makes with that goddamn hair, it's just like like nah, no. Then we have Jim Cornette claiming that he heard AEW president and CEO Tony Khan wanted to bring in Bill Goldberg to redo his legendary streak storyline for AEW. Cody commented on the matter saying, "This isn't real. We had no contact." But however, Cody also said we didn't have any contact with CM Punk either, which turned out to be a lie. I believe that it was real, but not in the sense that Cody's taking it because, as much of a shitbag as Jim Cornette is, Jim Cornette didn't say that Tony Khan reached out to Goldberg. Jim Cornette said Tony Khan wanted to bring Goldberg in. There is a vernacular distinction that should be acknowledged. I could see Tony Khan telling Cody, as he's wiping away the coke from his nose after they fired all the British talent for no reason, going, Cody, I don't know if it's the Coke, the Pepsi, what have you, but we should bring Goldberg, have him redo the streak. And Cody, probably nowhere to be seen, doesn't say anything because Tony Khan's high as shit. Now, granted, I would totally do this, Marcus, if I had the opportunity to bring in Bill Goldberg back. Bill, I'll give you $5 million for a year. I want you to wrestle 40 times. And I'm not going to pay you on matches. I'm going to pay you on time. I will pay you $5 million for 50 minutes of ring time. And I'd be like, man, just fucking go through these dudes in less than a minute. Boom. You're good. 30 seconds even. Let's not even hit the minute mark. I think it would be awesome. But then again, I'm a Goldberg mark, so like I don't know. I like me some Bill Goldberg. One of my
Yeah,
favorite
I mean,
matches was him versus Sting at Slamboree '99, just because it was the two greats.
yeah, yeah, man, and it's interesting. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because they had Mike Tyson there, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna wanting to get back to that whenever that's plausible. But uh, like you said, I don't necessarily put it past them because of the whole thing with CM Punk. So, but to me, I feel like Goldberg probably feels like his bread may be buttered best in WWE. So, I mean, that'll be a hell of a surprise because, I mean, why the man can't clearly do whatever he wants to do. I do think there's a certain loyalty. And what, isn't he like in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think he got in last year.
Yeah, so I feel like he probably, if he did ever come back again, uh, he wanted to be there. So, but again, anything can happen. People still holding out hope that Punk's going to come back. So, who knows?
Goldberg revealed that he still has a 2-year contract with the WWE. So, we'll see.
Basically, basically that's his Saudi appearance. Saudi appearances, yeah.
Yes, it is. Eric Bischoff on his 83 Weeks podcast talked about the Ultimate Warrior's debut in 1998 and why he left the company so soon. Apparently, according to Bischoff, so this is probably a lie, he said, we both had outs. He was a big contract, but he was a temporary contract in the sense that if it worked out great, we could mutually agree to continue. If it wasn't out from our perspective, then we could mutually agree not to continue. It wasn't like it was this massive commitment where we rethink all of our stories and angles with all of our top heels. It was an experiment, one that I was not thrilled about because I didn't see a character like Warrior being able to move the needle consistently. There was a lot of reasons why we thought, let's just give this a shot. If it works out bigger and better than I thought it would, wonderful. If it just works out okay, that's all right too. And if it sucks, there was a way out. He goes on to say, I listened for hours. I listened to Warrior on his views on wrestling, mostly his views on his character. What we felt were potential opportunities outside of the wrestling ring with his character, comic books, animation, merchandise. He believed in his character so much, his fantasy world became his real world. That's all he wanted to talk about. We didn't really talk about money in the first meeting. It was all about what the opportunity were for Warrior and where can his character go after we reestablish him in wrestling. The meeting lasted anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, and I would say anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. From 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes of that was me looking at hundreds of pages of animation and designs and looking at what Jim wanted to accomplish. At the time, WCW was commonly acknowledged that the top stars were making large amounts of money. When asked about, Bischoff mentioned how much money the company paid for Warrior's appearances. He says, I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't certainly anywhere approaching 7 figures. Bischoff said, I'm guessing $250,000 a pop, maybe a little bit more. But it would have been under $500,000. I guess he means for matches, because he wrestled 2 matches that I'm aware of. Maybe 3. Bischoff continued to talk about how he was on the radio show before Warrior had signed with the company. There was asked about Warrior talks to join the WCW. When asked about the signing, Bischoff denied it. He said that the smart thing to do for the integrity of your company is to keep secrets and create tension for a big surprise. I thought it was my business. I thought it was in my best interest to deny it. I needed to do whatever I could. However, I could to keep the integrity of the secret or the timing of the revelation. Bischoff continued to talk about leaked rumors from Wrestling Today and mentioned his appearance on AEW. You have fans that are reading things that haven't even happened yet and determining how they feel about it. When I showed up in AEW a couple weeks ago, some fan, I hate to call him a fan because you're not really a fan of the business when you do this type of thing because you're actually hurting the business. It didn't hurt me at all, but it hurt AEW. How much, how little, I don't know, but it's not healthy. Anybody that's a real fan of wrestling should probably forgive or understand why any promoter would do anything in their power to maintain the integrity of things that they were felt were best for business if they were kept secret. I don't disagree. But the best way to do that is make sure that you have a small circle of people who know the truth and then spread lies to everyone else. And spread a specific lie, Marcus, to everyone else. So, like, if someone says they're going to have a red jumping bean on Sunday, I know that was Clarissa, that bitch, and she fired. If someone goes, there's a honky-tonk restaurant being set up down the street, I know that was Mitch. Mitch is a bitch, and the Mitch bitch gets fired. But they don't do that because they ain't fucking thinking 3D chess here, man.
Yeah, it was a line that was said, and I'll probably paraphrase because I don't remember exactly, from ironically, a favorite a Marvel movie that we both share, Winter Soldier, where Nick Fury was like, nobody can spill all the secrets because nobody knows them all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like you said, man, you gotta, because some of these guys actually probably feel like they're probably feel good about themselves when they're the go-to guy for guys like Meltzer or some of these other publications. People, oh my God, how does this stuff keep getting out? And they're somewhere behind the scenes in the darkness doing the burns from The Simpsons.
Excellent, Smithers.
They
Excellent.
think they think I'm here spoiling away and catering, yet I leak all their secrets. It's weird. So yeah.
There needs to be a muahaha. Muahaha. Because that's some fucking evilness right there. So, let's move on to the last piece of the puzzle for tonight's show. We have a new X Division champion. We joked about this last week. We're like, how funny it would be if Rohit Raju screws over Chris Bay and wins the title. And we're like, nah, that wouldn't happen. Here we go. Marius. Rohit Raju's new X Division champion. They fucking did it. I feel like
hit. Yeah, you hit them balls with a finesse. I told you, man. It was in the making.
I feel like, who was it? Charleston Heston in Planet of the Apes? You blew it up! Damn you! That's how I feel right now, man. You blew it up. Damn you. It worked though, because they kind of put in the little sprinkles with the Chris Bay Chinese swinger stuff. We saw that maybe Chris Bay doesn't have the best luck with people. And then Rohit goes and does this, and it's like, Now, I don't know what the end game here is, but I'm happy for the guy. He's 40 years old. He finally got his big break in wrestling like 2.5 years ago. Maybe not even that long ago. And he just, became one of the top champions of one of the biggest promotions in the world. That's not something, one day he will not have that belt. And granted, it's not a real championship. He didn't actually win it. But for the rest of his life, he gets to have this moment. For the rest of his life, his legacy will be put in a Wikipedia article that says past champions. It does not matter if he lasts a year or a day as champion. No one can take this from him, and that's why this moment means so much.
And it's a moment that works because of the story. Like you hate to see somebody like Chris Bray knock off somebody like Mac, who didn't really get a lengthy reign at all, and then Chris dropped the title. But he didn't win the match because he was the best. He won because he finessed the finesser. Mm-hmm. Like Chris got comfortable and he thought he had a winner in a triple threat match. Like he's that confident in himself that he really didn't think that could happen. Now I hate the move that finished the match, that damn Alberto finisher with the, oh my God, I'm going to stand here and look at you as you prepare to drop 2 feet on me. But again, it's the story. He's thinking he's going to jump over him and dive on the TJP when he just chose to come down on him and get the pin. So again, it's the story. You have to look at the story, why it happened. He didn't dominate. Bro, he didn't dominate that match. He picked his spot, and that spot ended up winning him in the championship. And this is going to be a teaching tool for Chris Bay, who may very well snap and be looking to kill Rohit. But, with the way they've been going with the story, man, why it's shocking, it makes sense, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with it. Like you said, he may only last a day as champion, but it's the story that works.
I don't know what they're going to do with Bay now. Part of the appeal about Bay is that the character's designed not to be damageable. He's Teflon. He's not supposed to look good in wins. Like, he cheats. He brags about cheating. He will always cheat. So if he loses, doesn't matter. He cheats. That's his shtick. He's got a built-in parachute. So he's going to be fine. Part of me thinks the immediate, if they're not going to do Eric Young, Eddie tomorrow night, the immediate might be Bay. I don't think Bay would beat Eddie, but I think Bay versus Eddie would be an interesting way to end night 2. But, who knows what it's going to look like. It could be Rhino. It could be Tommy Dreamer. It could be Taya. I don't fucking know. I think that's one of the hooks for tomorrow, though, is who is Eddie gonna face? And not tomorrow, next Tuesday. Part of me wishes that they would have announced it tonight. That would have been cool, but they didn't. But real quick rundown. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Good Brothers defeated Ace Austin and Sawyer. We got of course Rohit defeated TJP and the Swerve, Chris Bay. Kylie Ray defeated Taya Valkyrie after Rosemary did a haphazard, I don't want to do this 3 count, which I thought was adorable.
Yeah.
We also had the tag team title match, which the Motor City Machine Guns retained. I don't think it was as good as their first match, but it was still solid. I thought it was worthy of the main event.
Yeah.
Did I miss any matches?
Oh, Moose retained against
Trey Miguel. There was a
Trey
point.
Miguel.
There was a point in that, Marcus, where I thought Trey was winning. I mean, I know better now.
Yeah.
Because, like, no, but you saw the tweet I sent you, right? The Rascals looked different.
Yeah. They dead ringers, man. It's like Impact's hiring stunt doubles or something.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, Alex Shelley, I think, is training or trained or had trained or knows these young gentlemen from, just from the indies. Like, these new guys are set to debut with Impact. Who knows in what capacity. But I laughed. I'm like, well, the Rascals got a black dude, a biracial dude, and a white dude. And then here we got a white dude, a biracial dude, and a black dude. I'm like, holy shit, the Rascals look different. Who knows what these 3 dudes could look like in terms of in-ring talents? Jokes aside, it's like I think these dudes can be really interesting. The guy in the ball cap I thought was Myron Reed for a minute. I was like, wait. And now I'm not using minute in an incorrect fashion. I literally mean 60 seconds. I thought for about 60 seconds, I'm like, did they sign Myron Reed? But they didn't. I have no idea who these cats are. They look to be, at least the white dude looks to be in great shape because he's got his fucking tank top on and he's got the vein in the biceps. The other 2 dudes are dressed like they're going to Florida for a fishing trip. We're going to go catch some marlin. You want to go catch some marlin with me and the other 2 rascals? The other 2 Deuce, like Dukes, D-E-U-X, Dokes, Rascals. The sequel to Rascals 2, Electric Boogaloo. We need to come up with a stable name for these 3. Point stands, though. Do you want to go fishing in the Florida Sea for some marlin? I don't even know what kind of fucking fishing rods we'd need. I fished like twice in my life. That's it.
Yeah, it's funny. I won won on this trace trip and won a complete fishing rod, tackle, and box set.
And now you have a reason to use it.
Exactly. And it's hanging on my wall. I'm looking at it, and I've never actually been fishing, so that's
the first time. The first time you go fishing, Marcos, you and I are hunting the goddamn white whale. We will do away what Ahab couldn't. I got enough experience. I got a hole 2 times at a pond and a lake. I am apex predator fisherman here. Like, there ain't nothing I can't catch.
Oh man!
Like, I'm gonna need one of them fishing rods that you just hold down the button and you go fink. Otherwise, I'm not gonna know what the fuck I'm doing. And don't ask me to fucking string anything through. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's hard, but like, I don't know. We would come back 3 days later, half the boat's missing. Did you guys go hunting for a Leviathan? No. Some tuna decided that we were fucking with their territory, so they decided to fuck our boat. The tunas fucked our boat, man. The tunas fucked our boat. And tuna's only like that big. Like, it ain't even big.
Oh man.
Goddamn. That's the movie we need to make. 2 guys unqualified to go fishing, but they don't get like attacked by like a whale or like a shark. But it's like a sea of it's like a herd of guppies.
Herd of gangbanging guppies. Oh.
And like they don't actually do anything. It's just we freak out. Like we shoot like the fucking flare gun into the boat and it burns half the boat off, and then like you take an axe that you randomly find somewhere and start chopping at the boat trying to kill the guppies. So like our boat's just fucked.
With Latin accents, you in the wrong waters, Holmes.
Well, I guess we're in the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, God. All right, so that's all we got for the show tonight. Unless, Marcus, you have anything else you want to chime in on?
No, that's it.
So let's give a tip of the cap to the Portland Trail Blazers. They defeated the LeBron Lakers, the LA LeBrons, in Game 1. Here's hoping for that sweep. Oh, that'd be great.
They freaking had Charles Barkley on TNT when they came back after the game. He was behind all three of them in the back sweeping. Legitimately sweeping because he called the Trailblazers sweeping. I don't know about that, but I mean that'll be a great early Christmas present. But yeah, I mean it was a good game. Dame is literally pulling up from half court consistently, so it's crazy.
Don't sleep on Charles Barkley, man. He not only is he one of my favorite commentators, but that man does know his basketball. You'd have to if you were 6'3" and you played power forward in the 80s.
Yeah.
That dude's barely taller than I am. I mean, he's actually about 9 inches taller than I am, but still. So here's hoping that the Magic and the Trailblazers both win their series this week, because that would be funny as hell. The two top teams are gone. Oh, because the Magic won too, so I'm just like, I don't even know what to do. Oh, it's gonna be an interesting week. So for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. Be sure to check out realnerdcorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com for more stuff that we do every week. Matt has a new article up. We have new podcasts up. Go check those out. And we'll talk to you guys. Marcus and I will be reconvening on Sunday, probably, to do another recording, but I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see how it goes. We might not do it. We might do it. I don't know. I need a better ending than that. But otherwise, we will be back on the air on Friday over on Twitch.tv/Comic and GameCorp as Alex Swisher and I review another movie. This week, it's going to be Psycho Beach Party, I believe. So be sure to tune in for that. So for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Remember to watch more wrestling. And as always, Marcus, take us home.
Good night, me.